Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. In this episode of Popcorn and Compliance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe series, Megan and Dougherty and I take up the Black Panther. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back again with Megan Dougherty for our continuing challenge, which is we're going to review the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe on Popcorn and Compliance. Why? Well, there used to be two reasons, but now there are three. Number one, because it's there. Number two, because we're both MCU geeks. And what's turned into probably more importantly, and the biggest is we both love talking about Marvel Cinematic Universe movies together. So today we continue with the Black Panther. As I said, I'm Tom Fox, your co-host, founder of the Compliance Podcast Network, and the voice of compliance.
And I'm Megan Dougherty, co-founder of One Stone Creative and host of the business podcast Blueprint Show. So Tom, I've been super looking forward to Black Panther because Black Panther is kind of a special MCU movie to me. It is, up to date, the only Marvel movie I've seen in theaters. The only one. If for no other reason, it is a special movie to me. But there are lots of reasons that it's excellent.
Well, as much as I love Captain America, and you know how much that is, this one is 1B. I absolutely love this movie. It was a huge cultural event in the United States because
Canada too.
The first major mainstream superhero movie to feature an African American. We'd certainly had them in the past, but this one was straight out of Marvel Comics, and that added a dynamic that we hadn't seen before. And plus, it's a great movie. It's a great story. It's great action. It's great acting. It's great scenes. It's great CGI. It's a great story. Lots of really plus stuff. I can't really talk about how much I enjoyed it. And I was trying to think of the number of times I've watched it when I rewatched it for this viewing. And I think it was 7 or 8, but I may have lost count.
Yeah, I clicked over to Disney Plus to rewatch it for this call, and it was like, at the very end, it's just like, watch again. Well, yeah, okay, let's watch again. Yeah, and what a gorgeous movie. I mean, the colors, the design, the whole Afrofuturistic aesthetic, absolutely marvelously beautiful.
Yes. I just can't really say enough about it. So I'm not quite sure where to start, but I was trying to think of where to start. And here's where I want to start, Megan. It is in watching it 2 nights ago, I saw 2 things that were new. And one was a camera shot and one was a piece of information. And so I wanted to talk about those. The piece of information I saw that I understood for the first time was when they bring the CIA agent in to try to patch him up after he's been shot. The Black Panther's sister says, "Oh, great, another broken white boy."
Another white boy for us to fix.
Exactly. And I didn't understand that until we had done this in chronological order because Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, was brought to Wakanda at the end of the Civil War. So that reference finally made sense because neither my wife and I could understand what other broken white boy. But the other thing that struck me, and I'm a huge, as you know, uber geek of the technical side of making of movies, camera shots, background, sound, etc. And they did a camera shot that I never saw before, and it was the following. And it was when the son of the uncle came back from America, and they did an upside down shot, and they rotated it 180 degrees, and it made me realize the communication to me was that the world has turned upside down.
Yeah, turning the throne on its head in the most literal fashion. It was so good.
And I found that an incredibly powerful shot. And I don't know why I never saw that before, but I hadn't. So did you get any of those kinds of revelations, or it was just as cool as ever for you?
Oh, it's mostly as cool as ever. I mean, there's a lot of things I really like about this movie, and one I find really interesting, and I was thinking about it more as I was rewatching, is Killmonger or Ndjaka as the bad guy, as the main antagonist in this movie. Uh, was really challenging because there's a lot of ways he's completely right about everything. From the beginning, from this really, heartbreaking beginning where he's left in, Oakland, California, away from culture, community, without even family members. Then looking at the state of, Black people in the world, especially in North America, terrible. And then looking at where, his ancestors came from, Wakanda, that are living in this paradise functionally, and the injustice inherent in that. So I think, I memean, as a character, I think they had to make him a little cartoonishly overextended bad just so that everyone watching wouldn't be like, well, yeah, of course he's the good guy. But so I thought that was really interesting. And the whole conversation throughout the film that T'Challa is dealing with, and the different kind of members of his family and his friends talking about, no, we need to keep things the way they are. And then Shuri and Nakia's middle ground of, just because things are good doesn't mean they can't be improved. And we can reach out and share what we have without losing what we are. To the other side, no, let's take over, let's fight, we should rule. And kind of T'Challa finding his way through that and finding the balance in his own path. Just what an epic story. What an extremely epic story.
So I had a completely different interpretation of him this time.
Okay.
And the first 7 or 6 times I saw it, I thought it was a political statement and his evolution to becoming a Black revolutionary. But I saw something different this time, which was the following. He was so angry and he was so mad from literally as a child going forward. Every day he focused on his anger. And about 5 years ago, I saw a presentation at Stratford-on-Avon of King Lear. And Anthony Sher was playing King Lear. And I think everyone knows King Lear goes mad in that play. Well, he went mad, or in Sher's interpretation, he went insane because he was so mad physically at his sons and everyone. And that's what I saw this time, that the anger and rage blinded him so much that whatever political message he wanted or intended to send, that was not it. And I say that because he openly admitted killing African brothers and sisters by blowing up the shield around Wakanda to get access to the throne. And I understand ends may justify the means, but that was really the first time I thought this is something different than a political statement. And his raw anger and rage at almost everything after when he comes to Wakanda and during his time there really struck me as something that I saw with Anthony Sher. So I was really intrigued by that. If you like cool tech and gadgets,
I like cool tech and gadgets.
This is the movie for you. And having his sister kind of as the head of the laboratory was so great. And she, once again, having a little sister with a mouth, I certainly could relate to all of that dialogue. And my sister does that to me literally up to this day. So it's good to have a little sister to help keep you in check sometimes. But I love that relationship. And then the real sense of clan and family when they went to the Jabaris to ask for help. I was so moved by that. And I was so moved by the king and promising to protect his mother. I just thought that was great.
It was funny too, messing with Ross a little bit. Be quiet or we'll feed you to my children. Just kidding, we're vegetarians. who knew he would go from being at the beginning? It seemed like he was going to be set up as one of the big bad guys when he was originally
Right.
challenging T'Challa for the throne. Then he turns out to be this, last minute save the day hero element. Awesome.
So, were there any cookies that really struck you or you enjoyed this time around, Megan?
One I noticed that I hadn't picked up on before is that Killmonger and his father T'Challa's brother had been in Oakland, which was the founding place of the Black Panther political party. So I thought that was a really nice choice to have been made. Just a small one. And let's see, what are my other cookies? Well, as you said, the tech was all gorgeous. From everything I understand about this movie, it was incredibly well researched as well, with the costumes and the dress and the movements of the various tribes within Wakanda all have a pretty strong historical precedent. So I thought that was really, really cool. And just getting to see that and it being so beautiful was great. Klaus was hilarious in this movie when he talked about his SoundCloud mixtape. I almost lost it right before he made it rain with the money falling everywhere. So I love this movie. Had a great sense of humor too, as well as telling an important and sometimes painful story. It was great. Agent Ross, I thought, did a great job. I really liked that kind of he saw his role once he had recovered and saw what was going on. He's just like, okay, this is really not like my scene. I'm just going to be here to help in whatever way you tell me is useful. And I loved that when Shuri was guiding him through how to fight in the plane, just fantastic. Like you, I love the relationships. The family unit was great. The different friendships as well between the Dora Milaje and Nakia. Generally, just what a great movie. I loved it. What were some of your cookies?
Well, the first one was, to me, the overt reference to the Lion King. There were a couple of shots, and the Lion King story. This seemed to me to be tie into that as well. So that was Lion King, but the second was the James Bond reference, and it wasn't a dialogue reference; it was a visual reference. So when they went into the casino or whatever place it was in South Korea, that was straight out of Skyfall.
Oh, fun!
And they walked down the stairs, and the overview of the scene, watching the gambling tables, that was really homage, in my opinion, to Skyfall.
Oh, very
But
cool.
if we go back to the Lion King, they kill the uncle or the brother of the king, and then the son of the uncle rises up. I realize the Lion King is a little bit different. It was the uncle himself, but I thought that was a really interesting reference. Visually, I think you're spot on. The first fight scene or challenge to the throne is done in a visual way that shows a horizontal stage, and the colors of each tribe I thought were great. And then a final movie reference, at least to me, was the sister had a hairdo where she had her hair up and then spun, and that to me looked like Princess Leia.
Yep.
So I really like that part as well. I can't recommend this movie enough. If you enjoy any of the things I've talked about, acting, visual effects, CGI, action, cool tech, witty dialogue, and I
So
mean witty dialogue. It was just spot on everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the things we all know this now at this point, Chadwick Boseman, who had played Black Panther, did unfortunately pass away. So if they are able to continue the series and create more movies, it's going to be interesting to see kind of who takes up that mantle.
Absolutely, and that's probably as good a place for us to end on, Megan. So I hope our listeners will join us again. I am Tom Fox.
And I'm Megan Dougherty. Please join us next time when we are going to be talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming.
This is Tom Fox again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Popcorn and Compliance, the MCU series. I hope you'll join Megan and I for our next episode where we take up Spider-Man Homecoming.